What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Debate. I'm your host, Howard Henley. The Debate is a show where we discuss social issues not only affecting the Black community, but the communities around us. As you can see, I have 4 people joining me. They're going to be our debaters, 2 people on each side. To my left, we have TJ and Kevin, and to my right, we have Courtney and Mateen. Now, television nowadays is saturated with reality TV. There's Real Housewives of Atlanta, Bad Girls Club, Basketball Wives. But many people don't watch reality TV because they feel that it paints African Americans in a negative light. So, the debate discussion topic for today is, do reality TV shows paint African Americans in a negative light? TJ, we're going to go and start with you. What's your stance?
I think that reality TV is a snapshot into somebody's life. I don't think it makes you look good or bad. I think people actually live those lives, and I think that you choose to do it. So no, I don't think that it makes you look bad. And I also think that people they make a conscious decision to do these things. No one is following around with a camera trying to expose your dirty laundry. People are willingly doing these things. So if they come off looking bad, it's a reflection of that person, not the whole entire race of people. And I think that if you're intelligent enough to get past that, then you'll be fine with it. I don't look at these people or these private citizens as, examples on how my children should be raised or anything like that. It's just for entertainment purposes. That's it. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. All right, Kevin, what's your stance?
No, I totally hear you, TJ, and I actually agree with some of the stuff that you say. However, I think that there's nothing that portrays African Americans more poorly degrading, maybe with the exception of hip hop, versus reality TV. Because I think that on reality TV, especially African American women are portrayed in a very just coonerific, buffoonerific kind of light. They always got to be talking crazy, snapping their fingers, talking out of their neck. Pretty much any negative stereotype you can think of a Black woman, that's what reality TV does, and they magnify that. They take that and they produce it into the 10th power. So when you look at these people like all Basketball Wives, these Evelyn Lozadas, these New Yorks, these African American women that are known for their dramatics, I think a lot of that has to do with these companies, reality companies, airing that kind of stuff. Now, yes, I do agree that they take it on their own accord to go out and do that. No one forces them to shoot that. That's what they put out there, whether they live that life or whatnot. But there's also a lot of things that they probably did in their lives, which they can showcase as well. But for whatever reason, that doesn't get aired. They only air the dramatic parts. They air the parts when they're fighting, being deceiving, backstabbing, all that kind of stuff. And they portray that in a very, very negative limelight. And ultimately, because that's what consumers want to watch. So, it's kind of a cycle, and they're just feeding into that cycle. But ultimately, yes, it doesn't give justice to our beautiful African-American women out there, or men.
Okay, thank you. Courtney, what's your stance?
My stance is pretty much no. I think reality TV as a concept is something that the media sort of decided to call unscripted drama. This is drama that is created to make us sort of pretend like we're looking into the lives of these people. But these women and these men and all these people, you show a variety of parts of yourself, and it happens to be that sometimes the negative stuff gets shown on television. I don't think there's anything specifically directed towards African Americans on reality TV to show African Americans only in this negative light. I think there's negative, there's positive, there's lots of different things going on in reality television, as we like to call it, and I don't think there's anything that's specifically targeted towards African Americans trying to make African Americans look bad. I think if African Americans look bad, it's because they are behaving badly, not because someone is portraying them badly.
Okay, thank you. Mateen?
I think reality TV makes African Americans look bad, but I think reality TV makes every race look bad at some point. Because I'm sure white people are like, "Hey, honey, boo boo," because it paints the negative. Because drama sells, arguments sell, people looking stupid, that sells. So they take what they want to take and they put all the negative stuff out there. So like these shows like Basketball Wives and Honey Boo Boo Child and Real Housewives of Atlanta or Malibu, all the negative stuff is always portrayed. That's what gets the most ratings. So I think what Kevin said, like African American women, I think that is the demographic that takes a hit as far as looking negative more than any other demographic. But I think it makes everyone look bad.
Okay, thank you. All righty, well, you heard it from our panel. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the discussion. Stay tuned right here, Debate. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Debate. The topic of the day, do reality TV shows portray African Americans in a negative light? So we heard from our panel first. Now, Kevin, you actually said something very interesting earlier in your discussion. You said that it's not only reality TV, but hip hop. So do you feel that reality TV exploits more than hip hop, or is it vice versa? What do you feel about that?
You know, I think it really all depends. I mean, I would say it pretty much equally exploits them. You know, if you look at hip hop has a very strong, just, I guess, for whatever movement of misogyny at this point in time. And you look at, you know, certain reality shows that we were talking about and stuff where they exploit the African-American women, and you see the same kind of thing. It's kind of like they're working kind of together in the same way. So, you know, when looking at it from that standpoint, and it's not just blacks, you know, that are exploited. I mean, there's whites that are exploited in songs. There's whites that are exploited on reality shows and other races. But particularly with us, within the hip hop community, it's particularly our women that we're talking about. So I think, you know, first of all, you have to look at who is the one that's consuming this? Who is the one giving it ratings? Who's the one supporting these rap albums and stuff? And at the end of the day, it's us that is supporting it. So it's kind of difficult to say, all right, you know, you guys need to stop degrading our women and things of that sort, when these same women are the ones that are going to the club, going to these concerts of these people, tuning into these reality shows and watching it. It's like, okay, how is this ever going to get resolved or, you know, whatnot, if we're supporting the same thing that we're saying is destructing our culture? So, you know, it's kind of a where do you start kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Mateen, you actually brought up Honey Boo Boo in your discussion. So do you also agree that it's not only blacks that are exploited, it's also whites? How do you feel that they're exploited versus African Americans?
I mean, when you take certain sects of people, right? Like you have black people, white people, Latino people, and you portray a certain, you know, stereotype, like with Honey Boo Boo, like the redneck stereotype. But I think she's exploited as a child, you know. I think that whole Toddlers and Tiara thing is exploiting children, because that whole world, it exists, but now you say it exists, and now we're, oh, look, it's nice, it's fun, look what can happen. You can get your TV show if you act like an idiot on national TV. And with black people, I mean, a lot of like rap music, it's some certain other areas where I feel like, you know, it sets us back like 75 years. Like we worked so hard, but now we have like guys like 2 Chainz out making music and people buying it, and other rappers who just, you know, they're doing like all this buffoonery and coonery, like he said. Like they might as well put blackface on. You know, that's how I feel about it.
So let me ask you guys this: do you think it's more the producers? Do you think it's more the actual reality TV star, or do you think it's more the casting that should be blamed for the way that African Americans are portrayed, or even Caucasians are portrayed in reality TV?
It's the consumers. We're consuming it. We're
Exactly.
making, I mean, TV is money. Yep. So as long as it's making money, it's going to be on the air. We already know what exists and what they want on the air because we know what's selling. Pardon me. So the women that continue to do Bad Girls Club and continue to do the Real Housewives of whatever and the Basketball Wives of whatever, they know exactly what they're getting into. I have an issue with exploitation as a term because it connotes some sort of lack of control and lack of knowledge and lack of understanding of what they're getting into. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're doing it in hopes of, on some level, like progressing their own businesses and giving themselves a platform, because we live in a culture where fame does miracles for businesses and lives in general. And we accept that. So I think it's kind of remiss of us to be like, to jump on the whole, we're being exploited and we're doing it. We have a lot more control than we choose to take in these situations. And I think that as long as we continue to say, oh, we're being exploited and this is happening, and like it's happening to us, not that we're allowing it to happen, nothing is going to change. That's why the cycle continues. It's our stuff, we're choosing to do it. Yes, there are producers that, you know, do certain edits and make things look a certain way, but they know that going in. They know they want the women to fight. They know they want the women pulling wigs and doing all this stuff, but they continue to choose to do these shows. So I think we have to stop this whole, oh, they're making us look bad and making all this, and stop doing the shows. Give our girls somewhere else to channel that energy.
I agree. I feel like if it was such a problem, like if people were not looking at just for face value and just for entertainment, then there would only be one show. If after the first show where we saw women fighting each other and all these things, that was so bad and we were like, we don't want to look at this stuff, then that would have been it. It would have been no more. There are countless petitions going around to close certain productions of certain reality shows, and they were introduced to these people and they were tossed to the side because people really want to see that. And how do you argue with money, like she said? This is the television industry. This isn't trying to make people look good. That's not what these reality shows are for. It's supposedly to show reality. Now, whether or not that's true or not is not up for us. It's because we still watch it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be, like you said, take the responsibility as consumers and say, I'm not going to support this, or I am going to support it. I like it for what it is.
So you're more on the stance of as long as we're watching it, it's going to keep happening.
Exactly. As long as there's an audience or a market for it, it's like supply and demand. As long as there's an audience for it, people are going to do it.
At the end of the day, it's a business, and it's a business to make money. And if they're getting the ratings, if they're getting the album sales and all that other stuff, it's not going to stop. Why would it stop if they're profiting, so much off of it? So, I think it's really unfair for me to judge or anyone to judge, how what these entertainers do. At the end of the day, it's really all subjective. And if you choose to endorse that particular reality star or rapper or whoever it may be, that's your prerogative. I may not choose to endorse the same person, but at the end of the day, it's whatever you choose to do, and it's not going to stop if there's a like he said, a supply and demand for it. It's going to continuously go, and the reality shows may get worse and worse and worse. It can be Honey Boo Boo has a diaper in Japan or something. I mean, the sky's the limit for how idiocracy it can go. But if that's what we love, they're going to keep feeding it to us. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So we're going to go and take a quick break. But before we go to break, we want to hear what you all have to say. So let's toss it over to Siobhan Hughes to see what everyone's saying out there in the Twitter world.
Thanks, Howard. Hey, everybody, it's Siobhan Hughes, your social media friend, bringing your tweets and your video responses to life. Let's take a look at what we have today. Our topic of the day, do reality TV shows portray African Americans in a negative light? Yep, that case says, I feel it paints all races in some sort of negative light. No one looks great on TV lately. At Tensai says, I think TV networks work on stereotypes of all races from the point of view of the average American white man. That being said, white TV chooses the black character that is most familiar. Minstrels will always find work in Hollywood. Let's take a look at our two video responses sent in by Alexandria and Jeff.
Hello, I'm Alexandria, and when asked do I think that African Americans are portrayed in a negative light on reality television, I would have to say yes. Only because there aren't enough positive images as it is. In a media-based society, media is what helps us to form our opinions about the world. So the portrayal of African Americans on television is extremely important because outside of our everyday life, that's the only image of African Americans that we see. Networks produce these shows with a majority black cast featuring industry professionals and their spouses, and while the ratings do skyrocket, the image of African American women as rowdy, loud, and belligerent is constantly being displayed. Not only that, but young women begin to believe that that behavior is acceptable or even expected. So it may be a peek into someone's life, but my point being is that there isn't much variety. If the media is what helps us to shape our view of the world, then our image of the state of African Americans is extremely inaccurate. Television is partially responsible, and it has a major influence on the stereotypes placed on the black community. We don't like that they're there, but we constantly reproduce this image.
Hey, how you doing? My name's Jay, and I just want to touch on the topic of is reality TV portraying a negative image of African Americans. And I think yes, because you have TV shows portraying to young boys and men that it's okay to impregnate 12 different women, and they each all have all different roles. Then you have an Atlanta security guard on World Star Hip Hop every week, just talking nonsense, going back and forth with the customer, trying to kick them out. I understand what he's trying to do, but it's all this fashion reality TV is getting out of control. We need to start setting a more positive example for our youth. I mean, because they're our future. So let's try to set a positive example. All right.
If you want to be a part of our discussion, send us a tweet to the Debate TV Show on Twitter, or send us an email to thedebatetvshow@gmail.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the show. The topic of the day is, do reality TV shows portray African Americans in a negative light? So, Kevin, you were actually on a couple reality TV shows yourself. Why don't you tell us about your experience doing reality TV?
Yeah, I happened to be on a couple of reality shows on VH1, and my experience with it was pretty interesting. First of all, let me say, I think this question was asked earlier, like, does the media, do the producers or casting associates, whatever, make you guys do anything? Nobody makes you do anything you do not want to do. So if you see anyone acting a fool on a reality show, that's them doing that on their own, taking their own prerogative to do that. Nobody forces you to do anything. So with that being said, I felt compelled to do a reality show, especially the one that I did, is because of the fact that I knew it was derived from the same thing that we were talking about, them portraying African Americans as illiterate, uneducated, and just crazy. So I was like, if I have a platform to portray an African American person as sophisticated, intellectual, intelligent, articulate, well-spoken, and things of that sort, then I'm going to do that. And I kind of went on that show and did that. And, I was overall, I was happy with my experience on there. I have nothing negative to say about it. That was what I wanted to do. That was what I wanted to, that was my objective of going on there.
Here's the thing. You just said in one breath that no one can make you do anything, and no one is forced. Those people are being themselves. Then that's why I agree with what I said. Like, that's why I say what I say, and that is, it's not exploitive. People are going on the show to, like you said, garner some kind of fame, and they're making these decisions knowingly. So you can't say it was overproduced, and you can't say that somebody forced you to do this or this isn't you, because this is you. You decided to go and take your clothes off and jump in the pool, or you decided to throw a drink on this woman and you did that. And it was no pressure. Nobody said, we want this to go this kind of way and all this kind of, you said it yourself, because I would rather get it from you, because I was never on reality TV and you were.
Yeah.
So in that same breath, how could you say that it's exploitive if you didn't go in there and feel exploited?
Well, I guess let me rephrase. Now, there are certain things that they would like to try to instigate behind the scenes, but they don't make you do anything. Like, for example, if they say, hey, we heard that such and such over there said something about you, or something, like, say they're just making up something just to spark a conflict or a debate or confrontation. You don't necessarily have to take the bait. It's really up to you. Now, they may try to instigate certain things behind the scenes, but that's you, whether you want to take it or not. They don't force you to do anything you don't want to do. It's your, you can do whatever you want. Now, as far as exploitation, they may exploit certain things about a particular individual.
But it's not specifically for black people. That's the topic. It doesn't exploit African American people. And like Mateen said, it's all people. It's equal opportunity exploitation.
I think,
yeah, because there are white people on the show as well that were exploited.
I think what reality TV does is it perpetuates stereotypes. So what happens is they take these groups, these stereotypical characters, and they perpetuate it. So when I say exploit, I mean, like, so it takes one group and it broadcasts it to millions and millions of people who think that if they see a black girl, this is how she's gonna act. If they see a girl from Arkansas who's white, she's gonna act like Honey Boo Boo Child. So when I say exploit, I know these people are getting into it, like they wanna do it because they're chasing that fame monster. People are gonna do whatever it takes to become famous because they see like all these reality stars, quote unquote, and see what happens to like Kim Kardashian, who's famous for being on a reality show.
That's not why she's famous.
But that's why people know. She did the sex tape, but that's why these reality people, like you,
or even Jersey Shore.
You start on one show, you go to another show. Yeah. The Jersey Shore people, they were getting $100,000 an episode or something like that. So that they take one stereotype and perpetuate it, and everyone is chasing this fame monster. So I think that's where it becomes a negative.
It can be negative, yes, but that's characters.
Right,
that's
that people
television.
exist.
Like,
Exactly.
It's entertainment.
Those
so
people really exist.
You're exploiting those stereotypes.
There's nothing that would be
in
an
every
issue
stereotype,
if
there's
there was
truth.
Something there's not balance.
Right.
There's still balance. Like, it's our biggest argument
balance.
in African American entertainment is that we only get to see the Tyler Perry version of black people,
right.
per se. In reality television, we're standing here pretending like there aren't other options that are actually,
come on now, sister.
I mean, quality, so to speak, reality TV. There's Mary Mary, there's the Braxtons have a show. Like, they have shows about their family and their conflicts and their issues, but it's not just about, I'm gonna fight and pull this wig and do this and do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
So
not
rare.
necessarily rare in comparison to what?
But
There's-
what she's saying is
the
that-
ones.
I
Okay,
mean,
no. I
there's
hear you.
Mary Mary, there's Tia and Tamara, there was Brandy and Ray J. Like,
Yeah.
there's plenty of them coming
Brandy
through
and
the.
Ray J
I mean, they had
actually
their little-
did a reality show
they
on
did-
VH1 that wasn't too
They did what
positive.
there's about their
But-
family that wasn't like anything negative. He did his dating show, if you want to call that negative. That's grown folks dating and doing
exactly.
what they do.
These things
So-
happen in reality. This is not something that's foreign to any of us. All of these things happen. You know a girl that acts just like somebody from Basketball Wives. You know a girl who acts just like that. So it's not like these characters were invented by reality television and forced upon us and shoved down our throats. These are real people that we know. Now, would we like their dirty laundry to be aired on television for the world to see? Probably not.
But you gotta take because people watch it. People
Because you
watch
gotta
it.
take the good with the bad.
It's like
At the end
everyone
of-
says it's my guilty pleasure. It's my guilty pleasure to watch. It's like I compare it to watching a car crash. Because no one wants to admit that they want to watch it, but they do.
They all turn their head
They all
when they
turn their
pass.
head when they see it.
And you have the responsibility if you run into the car ahead of you because you were looking at the car crash.
But-
so
but-
the same way you're trying to blame, like, reality TV is doing this and it's making kids look like this, like, that's still your responsibility in your house to make those choices.
You're very true. And first of all, I just want to say, first of all, it has to do with the parenting as well. I think the parents in those homes need to be involved and in control of that. But as far as you're saying, as far as there's a lot more positive shows that you brought up, Mary Mary.
No, she didn't say
I
it was
didn't
a
say
lot
there are
more.
more
She said there's
positive shows.
balance.
I said they exist, so there is a level of balance.
Okay, you say they exist. I don't know if I agree with that because you see a lot more shows out there that perpetuate these stereotypes versus these Mary Marys and these other ones.
What do you mean
and
you
they get
see a
prime
lot more?
time.
Is it that you're not finding the other shows because those other shows are popular and getting the ratings because there are consumers out there that are buying? That doesn't mean that
Because
those
people
other
wanna
shows
see the
don't
negative.
exist.
People want
Well,
to
that's-
see the negative.
That's the people.
That is the
That's not
people.
the
That's
show.
not the
That's
show.
still
Exactly.
people
They make it.
choosing bad things.
But the show is they're making the show because just because you make something, if you make something bad because you know that people are going to watch it, that doesn't make that you take blame in that. You're gonna say I'm gonna make this horrible show, like I'm gonna make this horrible show.
And you
'cause
think
I know
that's what
they're
they
gonna watch
do?
it.
They go, we're gonna make black people look terrible.
And as an artist, I think that reality TV in itself as a whole has killed everything. It's because that's what people are doing now. They want to become reality stars. You know,
It's killed genuine artists.
Artists, yeah.
It was that
Reality
genuine
shows
actors,
did not
writers.
kill people's desire to become something better. Our culture killed desires to become
But it's taken
something
away
better.
jobs
Our
from people.
It's
Let me
not
take
taking
away
away
jobs
jobs.
from
I
people.
still got
Let me
my
go ahead
job.
and just
Tonight,
step in and just ask you guys like a final question real quick because we got to wrap it up. What do you think at least there are some positive points about reality TV? Because I remember, Courtney, earlier you were talking about, like some people having their own business now, like Candy has bedroom candy and
Making millions of dollars.
is making million candy coated nights. So do you feel that maybe at least that's a positive aspect of reality TV that is helping that black owned businesses?
I do think it helps entrepreneurship. Like, don't get me
I
wrong,
agree.
I am not standing here trying to advocate for Evelyn Lozado jumping over a table to beat down a chick in Basketball Wives. Not at all. But she is able to, based on that fame, build her company. She has a cosmetic line. She's got her shoe line online. Like, those are positive things in the community, in entrepreneurial ventures that will hire people, give people jobs, and will continue to make people like, oh, I want to pursue this, and I might want to be a shoe designer for her thing, and whatever. So it can spark things. Do I think that's the best way to go? Obviously not. I'm not going to tell my kids
But maybe
to go do it.
it's more
but
like
it's
a
still
platform.
And
Absolutely.
I also
The
think
thing
that it's a
is-
responsibility, like Kevin said, of the parents, because not only can it serve as something to do, it also can serve as something for you not to do. Right. So you tell your daughters, if you're going to watch this, this is not how I raised you to be, so don't go out and portray yourself like these women.
Yeah. And also, I was just going to say, as far as you talking about, it brings a platform for them to start their own businesses and stuff. I mean, you brought up Kardashian earlier. She's built an empire. But the thing I want to say to that is there are other ways to build businesses, to be an entrepreneur, versus going on a reality show and acting
Right. And I guess
fool.
reality
Absolutely.
TV is at least like an easier part. So let's get your...
It's a shortcut to it.
Right. Okay. So Mateen, let's go and get your final thoughts. We got to wrap it
Yeah,
up.
I don't. Like I said, I don't think all reality TV shows are negative. I watch like shows like American Idol and X Factor and The Voice because I appreciate them giving someone a chance that might not have the chance to do it, and I like to see that process of somebody fulfilling their dream. So I like that aspect, like the contest aspect of it. Okay. But I think reality TV is not going anywhere. So if you like it, if you hate it, they're still gonna make it.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for my panel joining me today. We had a lot of great discussions. If you want to go ahead and send us a tweet at The Debate TV Show. You can also send us an email with your video response to the debate TV show at gmail.com. I can't talk. We'll go and see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.